and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the build-up show for our first Champions League game of the season. And is it a big one? It is absolutely huge. It's Manchester United versus Bayern Munich away at the Allianz, and it's the first Champions League game back in the Champions League. And I'm joined with Faz, and I'm also joined by Ricky over there on the other set as well. We've got the Godfather here to give his insight. We've got loads to get into. Thank you everyone for joining us. First things first, I want to say I've seen a lot of stuff going around. I've seen we're going to get beat. How many are we going to get beat by? I'm not prepared for how many we're going to get beat by. On this channel, we are going to be positive.
Yes.
We're going to back the team no matter what's happened. We're going to be a little bit realistic as well. That's why we've brought Ricky in. But, you know, let's be positive going into this game. It's a clean slate, and hopefully we can turn things around, and this is the turning point for the start of the season. But, Faz, I'll come to you first. Champions League, under the lights. If the players can't turn up for this game, what can they turn up for?
Exactly right, Beth. Exactly right. We're dressed for the occasion. The Godfather is here. You know, Erik ten Hag is going to be talking to the players and telling them what, you know, that we deserve to be playing against the best teams in the world. He said that in numerous presses before, and that's what we want to see. We want to see belief, we want to see faith, and most importantly, we want to see the players fight for themselves. I'm not going to give you my speech just yet, the motivational speech, but what I will say is I'm very much excited. We've suffered with Europa League football for years, and now it's about time that we start setting ourselves you know, comfortably into the Champions League. And what a way it would be by either beating or at least drawing against Bayern Munich, because we're such massive underdogs.
Yeah, we are massive underdogs. I will say, though, just to throw a spanner in the works, this is not the Bayern Munich of old. Like, it's not. They're still a very, 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 very good team. They've got very good players. But, you know, I'm not 100% sold on Thomas Tuchel as a manager. I think he's a good manager, but I'm not 100% sold. Although he is very good in knockout competitions, and he has done us over in the past, for example, with PSG. And I think this Bayern Munich team, even though they have they've got players that can punish you 100%. There is gaps. Man United can score if they do the right things, in my opinion. But we've got a super chat in already from Chris Cooper saying the Godfather is back. He is. And I'll come to Ricky in a second. But just a little bit about our last two games to Bayern Munich were in 2014.
Yep.
I think we all remember what they were. I was absolutely gutted.
How old were you then?
2014. How long ago was that? 3 + 4,
9
7 years. 7 years ago. No, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
9 years ago, I was 12.
Wow.
That is actually so bad. That is actually so bad. But anyway, I remember it, and I remember being gutted. God, was I really that young? Jesus Christ. Anyway, it was 3-1 away. Is that... I don't think I've done the maths right on that one. 9 years ago. 22 take 9.
Yeah.
No, 22 take 9 is not 12.
13.
I was 13. I was 13. I was 13. Mathematics, if you know, you know. Anyway, so obviously away to Bayern Munich in that leg, we lost 3-1. At home, we managed to get a 1-1. And the last time before that was in 2010. And we lost at their place 2-1, but we won at Old Trafford 3-2. So we really don't have a good record at the Allianz Arena. We've had, you know, some good games against Bayern Munich in the past. Obviously, we all know 99. But that is our kind of record. Ricky, throwing it over to you, because you weren't here for the Brighton Fan Forum. You were severely missed. But what does Ten Hag have to do differently in this game to try and get some sort of result?
He's got to do a lot differently. He's got to do a lot differently. He's got to get a few more defensive-minded players. You know, I'm like a stuck record at times talking about this. But sometimes I wonder if we're stuck in the past and we think that was something we're not. For example, just get back to... Funnily enough, I was just about to say get back to basics. I was speaking to Adam in Canada just before I left earlier.
Oh, I like Adam.
I was just speaking to Adam, and he said to me, I think we should stick with this diamond and see how it goes. And he said, I don't particularly like Bruno on the right, and he's maybe better as a pinpoint of a diamond. So I said, we need to play 5 across the midfield. We need a back 4, and we need a string of 5 players across the field. And Adam said to me, no, we should go with a diamond. They're not really... Our players are not clued up enough, he said to me. I hope you're watching, Adam, if you are. Hello, mate. He said, our players are not clued up enough to stick to the jobs. So I said to him, if they're not clued up enough to stick to the jobs 5 across the field, how can you expect them to play well in a diamond? It's much more complicated. It's much more... And he said, you bang on. He said, I agree with you. We need... I watched Newcastle last night. They played away to AC Milan.
They were getting battered a lot of the game, though, Rick.
Yes, they were getting battered a lot of the game. But it's a game plan, Beth. It's a game plan. They've got a back four and they've got 5 strung across the park. They even left Almiron out to play Murphy, who's more defensive-minded. Then they've got Tonali, they've got Longstaff, and they've got... who else have they got in midfield? Grimaris. On the left, they had Gordon. He's the one player who's a bit more attacking, but he stuck to the job. I'm not a big fan of his, to be fair. He stuck to the job. When AC Milan had the ball, they had 5 strung across the midfield. They set themselves out not to concede a goal. And if they could nick one, great, but they set themselves out not to concede a goal, and they didn't concede a goal. That's how we should approach this game.
Well, I mean, I definitely think we need to go into this game with a game plan 100% to try and not concede. That's what you'd want to do that going into every single game, but this game is so important because of the players that Bayern Munich have and how badly that they can hurt you with them sort of players. I want to discuss what each of us would change to the lineup. We have got a predicted 11 to come up on the screen for you, and on that predicted 11, if I remember correctly, we've just done the same team as it was against Brighton, but it's not as a diamond midfield. We've put Bruno on the right, Højlund up front and Rashford on the left. I don't think Ten Hag will go with the diamond again. I think the diamond was a shocker, if I'm being honest with you. The only way it looked good was when Brighton didn't realise we were going to play it. McTominay, awful. Eriksen, not very good on the left-hand side. Casemiro, terrible. And I thought Bruno was okay, but nothing major. The midfield was just all over the shop. And that diamond midfield, when you've got the likes of Alphonso Davies as your full-back, you're just asking for it there. So I just don't think Ten Hag will go with the diamond. But that's the predicted lineup we've gone for. Maybe there will be some changes. You know, it could be Garnacho on the right. Everyone's crying out for Pellistri to start. Whether we'll do that against Bayern Munich, we're not sure. But the defence definitely picks itself. But Faz, I'll come to you. What would your lineup be?
I think the only thing I would change is I would actually have Casemiro, Bruno and McTominay in the midfield and either Garnacho and Pellistri on the right-hand side. The only reason why I'm going to surprise people and say Scott McTominay is because we need the physicality in the midfield and we need energy in the midfield, considering...
But what energy? He doesn't bring energy.
Sure, but this is something Erik Ten Hag has to do. He might not bring the energy, but what is Eriksen going to bring as well?
At least he can pass the ball.
At least he can, but we won't be passing the ball if we don't have it, with Bayern Munich having Goretzka in the midfield as well. And Kimmich.
Bayern Munich's midfield is unreal.
It's unreal. And they have options as well with Muller, you know, with Musiala. They'll have options to bring in, with Gnabry tucking in as well. So it's going to be... I need someone to carry the yellow cards. That's basically what I want to say. I want someone who can break up the play, make the tackles, collect the fouls. And Eriksen isn't the type of player to be getting booked for any challenges. So that's why I'm picking Scott McTominay. Also, aerial threat, you know, making sure we try and defend any good set pieces that they take as well. That's the only reason. I'm not picking Scott McTominay for any other ability other than that.
The reason why I wouldn't pick McTominay is because I watched back the Brighton game and we were pressing actually quite well. First half, second half, all the players gave up. It was terrible. But he was so lacklustre. Like he didn't know what he was doing clearly, and he just was letting us down each time on that press. And I'll come back to you, Ricky. I just thought he offered absolutely nothing. He had 22 touches at home against Bayern Munich. To put that into
Against Brighton.
Against Brighton, yeah. To put that into correspondence to Eriksen and Casemiro had over 70 each. McTominay had 22. He was so lost in that game and he offered absolutely nothing. I mean, Lamptey's on a yellow card 20 minutes into the game and you play McTominay against him for the rest of it. It was diabolical. I've talked about it so much. It was diabolical. He's basically inviting your fullback to come onto you, and that's exactly what we do if we did it against Alphonso Davies. It's just completely inviting them to come onto you. But I wouldn't play McTominay purely for his physicality because I never see it anymore. I didn't see him busting a gut running around against Brighton. I didn't see it really affect us.
Yeah, and a lot of people...
With Eriksen, even though he's slow, I know he's going to find you in a pass.
Yeah, and a lot of people want Hannibal to start as well. There's been a lot of conversation about Hannibal, but you know, we can get excited from the goal he scored, but let's be very honest, Erik Ten Hag or any manager is not going to be playing an academy player against Bayern Munich, starting especially. It could be a fantasy, it could look really nice, but that's not happening. It's
too early. You need your senior players in there, but also I would say a thought I had is if we started Fred, I'd probably be starting Fred tonight.
Of course, yeah, Fred
and that's wild, isn't it? That we've not managed to replace him. Obviously, we've got Amrabat would be starting, Mount potentially would be starting, but they're injured and we are in a bit of an injury crisis. But Ricky, you wanted to come in on that McTominay point?
Yeah, you mentioned us getting played through too easily. Well, you didn't actually say that. You just said that on the press, McTominay was letting others down. I think that's what you said, because he wasn't getting involved in the press like the others. I don't know what the idea is in a diamond, how you're supposed to press, by the way. He's sort of playing to the right, Eriksen's to the left. Obviously, Casemiro's back. I'm not sure where he's supposed to be. You might be criticising him for not being on the press when maybe he's been told not to get too far forward.
He was just leaving gaps, though.
Yeah, but if you... Look, you've got to be somewhere on the field. So if he's on the field, he's filling a space. So it doesn't matter that there's gaps. There's going to be gaps. But you've got Casemiro at the base of the diamond. You've got McTominay slightly to the right. You've got Eriksen slightly to the left. You've got Bruno up top. Bruno definitely is on the press. He plays more or less like a forward. So you've got 3 people on the press there. You've got your 2 forwards and you've got Bruno. Whether the other 2... I mean, don't forget, McTominay and Eriksen are both playing the exact same position, except one's wide to the right and one's wide to the left. Did Eriksen go on the press?
Eriksen first half did. Second half, he had no legs and was massively letting us down.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I can't remember. I watched the game myself, but I can't. And I've watched it again. I've not noticed a lack of pressing, but this is my point that I want to come to. We shouldn't be pressing. We shouldn't be pressing. They play through us too easily. And once they get through us and they're on top of us, and this was Brighton, if we go to Munich tonight and press...
Oh, we won't. We
will get played through like there's no tomorrow. We need to sit back, let them have it in their own box, because that's what the press normally is, putting players up towards their box. 2 or 3 passes, and they passed 2 or 3, 4 players even. And then they're against 6 players. It's not enough players behind the ball. We want to let them have it in their own box, let them have it in their own half even, and sit back and let them make the mistake. Then once they get near the halfway line, just like Newcastle did last night, that's when you go to the men. Because once they get near your halfway line, or the halfway line, you've got 10 men behind the ball, and it's a smaller space that you're defending. You're not defending the whole field. You're defending half the field, and all your players are closer together, and they're more compact.
No, we 100% agree with you, but obviously there's a difference between playing Brighton at home and Bayern Munich away. Like, obviously, I don't expect us to go to
Brighton might be better.
Obviously, I don't expect us to go to Bayern Munich away and press them. I don't expect that. But what I'm saying, the game plan that we had at home against Brighton, maybe we should have laid off them. But McTominay, for me, was constantly out of position and did nothing in his role. Therefore, for me, it was just an empty... It was a waste of a player on the pitch, in my opinion, from what McTominay offered us. But yeah. I get why you'd want him for his physicality and stuff. We've got a few super chats coming in, so I'll read them. Yeah. Darren Mulaney says, could we beat Barcelona last season, so let's go and do it again. We need Garnacho and Palestra on the wings. Lee says, hey guys, great show. We have to move away from academy players. If you are good enough, you are old enough. How old is Musiala of Bayern? Enjoy the game. Very interesting start. We're going to talk about Bayern Munich in a second. So, Ricky, before we...
Just quickly on the pressing as well, I just wanted to mention, the pressing actually, I agree with Ricky, the pressing also doesn't work because we don't press in sync. We don't press it as a front 3. A lot of the times Rashford press or Bruno's press, it's like a player is only pressing alone or in twos, where you have to press, the whole team has to shift and cover certain areas of the pitch together, and we never seem to do that. Rashford, if he presses, obviously he doesn't track back, he doesn't press hard enough. Bruno, if he presses, he's almost alone at times, and this is the thing that people say, he runs so much, he busts himself on the pitch, but it's almost not beneficial towards the team because he's leaving so much space behind him because the midfielders behind him are not moving up as well.
This is something the manager's got to sort out.
That's right. So the pressing actually, like Ricky said, it actually doesn't work. And I said the same thing against Brighton, is rather sit back and use, again, it's a shame, but rather play counter-attacking football because it gives us the best option with Rashford on the pitch. So, yeah.
It does. It's just looking at that midfield. You need Casemiro in there. Don't want to drop Eriksen because I know he can pass the ball, and Bruno's obviously undroppable. I just don't find a space for McTominay. But we'll speak about lineups in a second. Club 1878 says, quick fire question: what year was Old Trafford built?
1910.
Correct.
Well done, Faz. Well done.
He's definitely looked that up.
No, absolutely.
You've got to learn it from somewhere, haven't you?
I was actually Googling Thomas Tuchel trophies.
John Reimer says, Ricky, the problem is the effort. If they put in the work, they can be successful with the press. Interesting. And Sean Dunn says, Bayern play counter-attack anyways.
Also, a big shout out to Diop for becoming a member on the United stand as well. Thank you very much.
Yes. United have confirmed the team.
Yep. So
Seriously?
Yeah.
So team is out. Escape says, hey Beth, shitting bricks here. What about you guys? Well, let's confirm the team with you guys. So the team is exactly how I was told it before, guys.
This is from United, yeah?
Yes, so the team from Manchester United is Andre Onana in goal,
Yay.
Dalot, Lindelof, Martinez, Reguilon, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Rashford on the left, Højlund up front, and Facundo Pellistri starts on the right wing. Ricky's not happy.
Look at zoom in on Ricky's face, will you please?
Zoom in on Ricky's
Producer,
face.
get Ricky's face on right now. Ricky,
Pellistri starts.
tell us first, why do you have that face when you heard Eriksen and Pellistri?
Oh my God, if this, has he not learnt any lessons from shipping 7 at Anfield and 6 at the Etihad? There's too many attacking players to play away to one of the giants of European football. There's too many I mean, Pellistri's a proper winger. He will get back. He will get into shape. But, you know, he's still an attacking player. You've got Pellistri, you've got Bruno, you've got Højlund, you've got Rashford. Look, I hope they prove me wrong. I hope we scored a couple of goals. I hope we get something out of it. But that team is set up as if, I don't know, it's like we're playing, I don't know, Maidstone United in the FA Cup rather than Bayern Munich away from home. There's too many attacking players. If this goes badly wrong, I will be... I might look an idiot because we might go and win the game. If it goes badly wrong and we get murdered, I am firmly Ten Hag out. This team is like it's been chosen by a 12-year-old boy.
Well, I'd choose this team, Ricky.
Wow.
Or a 22-year-old girl.
So, Ricky,
So, my
do tell us
apologies.
then. Do tell us, because you think there's too many attacking players in this game.
Can I just say something first?
Go on.
First of all, I think, Ricky, you're being harsh. I know we're going to Bayern Munich away, but let's look at Ten Hag's options. What other option does he have apart from bringing McTominay in? That's the only other option he has. Pellistri, you've finally got someone in who's going to cross the ball to Højlund. What other, apart from Martial and McTominay?
We're probably not going to... Look, again, we're talking about what we're expecting to happen. I think I might be saying the same thing after the game. I don't think he's going to get much options across the ball to Højlund. I don't think we'll have a lot of the ball. I think we'll be spending most of our time defending.
But if you were picking the starting 11, what change would you make to that, really?
I'd play Bruno on the right. I'd pack the midfield. I would. At least he'll do some defensive work. Look, you've got to fit him in somewhere these days, haven't you? If he's on the right, he will do defensive work. In the midfield, he should have all of McTominay, Casemiro and Eriksen, but not in a diamond like at the weekend, next to each other. You should have your back 4 and you should have your midfield 3, like that, making it difficult to play around, if you can see that on the screen. Get your 4 and get your 3. 2's not good enough tonight. It is not good enough. So then you've got Pellistri on one wing, Rashford on the other wing. Attacking style players, there's going to be too much space. Again, I've said it 3 times already, I think. I hope I'm wrong, but I can see a hammering coming. There's too many attacking players.
Well,
and on the left,
forget.
by the way, somebody who understands the game and stays deeper as a left winger is Anthony Martial. He should be playing on the left wing. Martial should be playing on the left, and Bruno should be playing on the right.
Do you think Martial has the fitness to play on the left?
And then 3. Well, look, he's been playing for an hour. Let's see if we're still in the game after an hour.
I would just want to say as well, Facundo's probably going to be tracking back a lot more because of Alphonso Davies, so he's not going to even have a chance to create the chances that Ricky's saying. I hope I'm wrong. I do hope I'm wrong. But also, my theory was I would have played Martial and Højlund together. Again, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, and I can imagine why. But me and Ricky had a chat off camera as to our theory behind it, and I'm glad that we agree. But like I say, you don't know if Ten Hag in-game is going to end up changing this formation or changing some of the players and changing to something else if things are not going right. We will see. But as per the masses, we wanted Pellistri to start. We've been crying for Pellistri to get the moment to shine, and this is his moment to shine. Garnacho got that last season, and he's proved himself, and Erik ten Hag ended up giving him a proper contract to be part of the first team. And Facundo Pellistri will never ever could have dreamt of a better time for him to prove what he can do on the pitch. Bayern Munich, underdogs, Anthony and Sancho's playing FIFA right now.
Oh, what an idiot.
Jadon Sancho, well, there you go, best reaction. But Jadon Sancho is playing FIFA right now. if you ask me, I think I don't mind. I couldn't care less.
I could.
I couldn't
It's a
care
game
less.
day in the Champions League for Manchester United. You put out a statement about 2 weeks ago saying you do everything to fight for the bad, and you sat there playing
But the
FIFA
reason
live
why
streaming.
I get you. No, I
Piss
get you. But the
off,
reason
seriously.
why
I'm not sure it matters what
No,
he's
it
doing.
matters
but,
to me.
but
It's a game day, and you sat there live
Yeah.
streaming FIFA.
Yeah.
No.
No, the reason why I don't care so much is it tells me blatantly what his mindset is, and I'm glad he's doing that because that just shows he's a player who's supposed to be sold. And I'm right when I said Jadon Sancho needs to be sold and shouldn't play one more minute. That's why I love it. I love it that he's done that and he's showing the fan base the type of character he is. Because if that was my teammate playing, I would be glued to the TV screen and I'd be making sure that I support my team. I'd even put out a story somewhere saying, "Go on, team, supporting the team." And he's doing the total opposite.
Yeah, we'll bring the bench to you in a second. We just have a few super chats. John Brymer says it doesn't matter the team. Ricky wants us to score goals, but then says we have to be defensive. Can't have it both ways. Liam Anthony says, "Hi guys, got the week off. Bottle of Jack ready for the game. Flistry hat trick, 5-3 Bayern, and then I'm smashing the TV. Ricky is my oracle." Club 1878 says, "We always criticise Ricky's opinions, but over time he's almost always proved correct. It makes me feel crazy, but let's do what Rick says." I'm being told for you to check.
Yeah, I got the substitutes for you
Faz.
as well. So to start off with, we've got it's just brace yourselves. We've got 3 goalkeepers in bench. We've got Altai Binder, we've got Tom Heaton, we've got Vitek, we've got Johnny Evans, we've got Dan Gore, we've got Hannibal Mejbri, we've got Forson, we've got Garnacho, we've got Scott McTominay, and Martial. So, in essence, if you ask me, with all due respect, we've actually got 2 quality players between Martial and Garnacho, and people know how much I actually don't want Martial in the club, but that's me saying it. We've got 2 quality players, a bunch of keepers, and the rest is just
Kids.
academy players, and that is absolutely embarrassing.
Can I just say one thing? When Ricky's, criticising the lineup that much, you've got to look at what Ten Hag's dealing with here. Like, you've got to look at it. He's going to need something off the bench as well. He's going to need something off the bench.
But at the same time, Beth, if you pick the players that I think he should be picking, you would have the players on the bench that are now in the starting lineup. So if you had Rashford on the bench and you need a goal, you've got Rashford to come on. I would rather still be in the game. I'm fed up saying it. I'll be staggered if we're still in the game with half an hour to go, whereas we might be if he packed the midfield a bit more and had a left winger who's more defensive-minded than attack-minded.
The fact that you put Bruno in your starting 11, though, shows how thin we are. Because usually you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do normally.
But this is where I'm going to say, controversial, I am worried about the midfield. I'm worried about physicality and height. But what I will say is I'm actually pleasantly happy with that lineup.
But I'll tell you what, though, I feel absolutely heartbroken for Donny van der Beek for how he's been disrespected by this club.
Well, I'm not.
Is he injured?
I'm not. No, he's not been listed as a Champions League player.
He's not been listed.
And the reason I'm not, because we're talking about the same player, Donny van der Beek, lovely guy, but I'm sorry, he was up for sale. Ten Hag didn't want him. He had multiple opportunities to leave. He turned his nose up. He's still here. Leave the club. Leave the club. Because you've been asked to leave the club. So find yourself a move instead of turning your nose up.
No, I get that, and I agree with you.
So I'm not bothered.
Sure, but look at our bench.
Well, it's not. Amrabat's injured, Mount's injured. They should be there. Do you know we're in an injury crisis?
And we would still be left
now.
with 3 keepers.
Oh yeah, we need the Bayern 11 as well. Could you
Let me
send
just
it
get through
actually?
a couple of super chats as well. There are loads of super chats coming in, so I do appreciate all of you bringing in the super chats. Let me just bring up the first one that I've got on my screen here. Bear with me. It says, did you get that? We always criticize Ricky's opinion, but over time he's almost always proved correct. It makes me feel crazy, but let's just do what Rick says. Moses says, Ricky McTominay is not a better player defensively in midfield just because they are better offensively. He never picks up his runners. Darren says, we should go back to 4-4-2. Thank you, Darren. Totally agree. With Martial and Højlund from wingers to cross the ball across Rashford, too greedy, should be dropped. I agree with the 4-4-2. Sean, thank you very much for your super chat, says, Ricky's lack of football knowledge never ceases to amaze me. Martial on the left and McTominay in the middle and stick Bruno on the right. Why put our best player out of position for championship level Scottish player? Lee says, hi Beth, you are right. I'm fuming at what Sancho is doing now. Besides what he is earning, he's got no respect for himself as a player or for the manager. So there you go. Bayern 11, Beth?
Oh, Bayern 11, I am with you now. So, Bayern 11 is Ulrich is the keeper, Upamecano, Kim Min-jae, Kimmich, Gnabry, Goretzka, Kane, Sane, Davis, Lima and Musiala. Musiala does start, which I didn't think he would do.
I didn't think he was going to start as well.
He's not really been starting recently. And then their bench as well. They've got De Ligt on there, Koeman, Muller. Yeah, so it's a good team. Let's be honest, their starting 11 is better than ours. Let's be honest.
Yeah, of course it is. There's no argument in that.
There isn't an argument in it, but that's where we're at. And let's talk about Bayern's starting 11 actually, because we actually did our players to watch from Bayern Munich as well. So let's get in our players to watch from Bayern Munich. Everyone's getting heated. Everyone's excited for this game. So, Ricky, you know what? We'll go with your player to watch first, because I know we didn't expect you to be on the build-up show, so we didn't make a graphic for it. But who's your player to watch from Bayern Munich? Who's the one that kind of you look at him and they think, oh, they could cause us problems?
Well, I've not even looked at. I just heard you read the lineup. I can't remember them all, but obviously Harry Kane's the main man, isn't he? Obviously, he's going to be a difficult player for us to play against, as he always is. So yeah, Harry Kane without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I went with Harry Kane as well. I also said Kim Min-jae, because I thought Kim Min-jae defensively is someone that we should have probably bought in the summer as a centre-back. We could have definitely done with him in recent weeks.
Leroy Sané's playing as well, isn't he?
Leroy Sané. Did I just read that out then? Did I just read that out?
He's a dangerous player.
Yes, Sané is playing. He's
a
dangerous.
Dangerous player.
And Faz, you went for Davis.
Yep, Alphonso Davis. An absolute
Is Davis playing, yeah?
Yes. An absolute world-class fullback, and you know what? He's so good going forward. He's so good going forward, and I absolutely fear for Facundo Pellistri, not actually for Diogo Dalot, because I have a lot of faith in Diogo Dalot, and ever since I gave him my pep talk, he's been doing really well. So, and he's been doing well out of position as well. But you know, international duty, you see Alphonso Davies scoring goals, doing so well as well for Canada, and he's not had the best of the game against Leverkusen last game he played. So I'm expecting him to take that and have a much better game. And he's going to have Facundo Pellistri going at him. It's going to be interesting to see if Facundo gets the better of him in any 1v1 situation.
Hashport B says Reguilon times Rashi star performance incoming. I did like the look of Reguilon, to be fair, when we saw him at Old Trafford. Robert McCormack said back four, not good defensively and getting no help. I am worried defensively.
Can I just say as well,
the help thing's the most important thing. It's not the defenders. If we ship 6 goals today, everybody be on the defenders' back. It's not the defenders' fault. It's the forwards and the manager. That'll be the problem.
Michael Ward says, let's hope Pellistri has a huge night. Fingers crossed for Pellistri.
And just on that as well, there's nearly 13,000 of you watching, and I want to put this message out to all of you. And if you're on Twitter, on social media and whatever, please, if Facundo doesn't perform to the level that you expect of him, please do not get on his back. Because we did that, you know, certain fan base did that with Alejandro Garnacho, and you could tell it affected him. So let's not do that. Let's get behind him, even if he has whatever the scoreline is. Just don't get on top of Facundo Pellistri. It's his first start in such a massive, probably one of the biggest games of the season. Please, just bear with him. That's all I can say, right? We don't want to create unnecessary toxicity around Facundo Pellistri. So, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I completely agree with him. I'm just hoping he has a really good night tonight. It's a huge game to throw him into for Erik ten Hag. It really, really is. And for me, it feels like Erik ten Hag saying, look, you're all getting on my back saying Pellistri should start. Here we go. Let's see what he can do against Bayern Munich. Let's see what he can do. And you know what? If Pellistri comes out of this with a good performance under his belt, it'll be absolutely huge for him. It's a huge chance for him to stake his claim as the right winger in this team, and I think he's massively deserved it. It's a long time coming. Another player we had to watch was Jamal Musiala. Obviously, incredible player.
Oh my goodness.
Gutted he chose to represent Germany over England. Yeah. Because he is obviously brilliant.
No, actually, I'm happy for him, because Gareth Southgate would have ruined his career anyways.
Yeah, Southgate's a terrible manager, to be fair. But I'm still gutted because, obviously, you know, Jamal Musiala, how old is he? Like 22?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Southgate's probably not even going to be here this time next year. So, you know, his England career could have been great. And I'm not really fussed about... I'm only fussed about England in the Euros and the World Cup.
He's 20 years old.
He's 20 years old, exactly. He's got
Same
a huge future ahead of him. He is absolutely brilliant. And I think he's someone that could cause us massive problems. Casemiro, wow, does he have his work cut out tonight?
Yeah.
Jesus, Nora. I agree with, in a way, like, I get why you said that lineup, Ricky. I wasn't trying to be like I disagree with you massively. If these players do the right things defensively and keep the shape, these players will be fine. I think it's just whether they have the ability to do that. But there needs to be support from Casemiro. There needs to be support. Eriksen, Bruno, they need to be covering and helping out a lot in that midfield. And the wingers as well, Rashford and Pellistri, need to be on their tails getting back for sure. But now, guys, we've got a really welcome special guest. We have Adam.
Which screen is he going to come on?
We have Adam coming through to us from the Allianz Arena. So, Adam, are you there with us?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you. Ricky can't hear you. Oh, I'm sorry, but we'll come back to you in a second, Ricky. Adam, how is the Allianz? How's the vibe there? How's the atmosphere? How are you feeling heading into this game, a huge game, and also thoughts on the lineup as well?
Yeah, so the news broke about Pellistri being in the starting lineup. That was like a hot topic in the media room here. Everyone's just tucking into the pre-match chicken tikka masala before heading out into the press box area. But yeah, the Allianz Arena is one you'd expect of an elite club, which Bayern Munich are. Being here this week, going to the training complex, the press conferences and everything that is Bayern Munich this week just shows welcome back to the Champions League, Manchester United. This is the big time, and this stadium is set up absolutely. The atmosphere is buzzing here. The temperature is perfect for football. It is a perfect night to make your second start in a Manchester United shirt. Facundo Pellistri, welcome to the big time, my son. Absolutely buzzing with that news and chuffed the bits for Facundo. I think if there's any way you're going to make a name for yourself or step up, it's on a stage like this on opening night of Champions League, I'd say. It's absolutely buzzing here for him. Everyone is just looking forward to the game now, Beth.
What do you think of the lineup? Because I don't know if you were tuning into the build-up before, but Ricky had a few choice words for it. He said it looks like it's been picked by a 12-year-old boy. What are your thoughts on the lineup?
Well, you can't really complain about the defence, can you? Because there's no one else there available for the defence. I mean, I'm sure he would have slotted Johnny Evans in next to Lindelof. I think he would have gone with that one. In midfield, I think he would have swapped Bruno Fernandes for Scott McTominay.
He actually said he'd play Bruno on the right. He actually said he would have played Bruno on the right.
Thing is, though, Bruno, I don't think he's got the. Bruno is a master at what he does, but I think we need someone with discipline tonight in all our positions. Everyone needs to be positionally disciplined. They need to have a structure and they need to have a shape. That's a definite in a game like this. Bruno can't leave that right hand position. He'll just go looking for the ball if things go wrong. You need to be solid. You need to be where everyone knows you are going to be. Everyone will look at that team, would have sat in the changing room, listened to that team and gone, I know where he's going to be. You can't have players drifting in and out of these games like this out of position, which I think Bruno would do just out of his the way he plays and his eagerness just to get on the ball and make things happen. I think Bruno back in the centre is where he needs to be and where he needs to stay. Forget the right-hand side. We've put a round peg in a round hole in putting Pellistri on the right wing, someone who can cross the ball, and hopefully Højlund is the man now in these areas where we've got a little bit of a different dimension. We can go down the wing and we can actually cross the ball in the box instead of trying to pass it 4 or 5 times too many than what we should do.
Yeah, I'll let Faz ask you a question. Just the last one from me, Adam, before I pass you over to Faz, is I would say, is there anything looking at a team that worries you where Bayern Munich can get at us? How are you feeling confidence-wise looking at that team compared to Bayern Munich, obviously? Yeah,
well, this is just a well-oiled unit. I said this I think I said it in my road trip video, actually. You look at teams that have aspirations in this competition, I'd say Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Manchester City, they're your top 4, all unbeaten, all top of their leagues, and all know exactly what they're doing, the role, who's playing where, cohesion within the squad, within the team, manager settled. We're the complete opposite. There's danger all over the pitch, Beth. There's danger at set pieces. For us, there's danger up front for us in Harry Kane. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter where you're looking at Bayern Munich side, Beth. They're just a team that's run well and organised. And that's all you need to know when it comes to threats for United. It's all over the park.
Adam, let me ask you a quick question on Reguilon and Andre Onana. Andre Onana's not had the best start to the season, but let's be honest, he's been a fantastic keeper when it comes to Champions League. Last season, that's why he made his name. That's why he's coming to Manchester United. How big of a game do you think it is for Andre Onana and Reguilon as well, who's not basically played any minutes at all, come join Manchester United, and he's possibly been one of our best players against Brighton, even though the score sheet said otherwise. What do you think, you think about them two playing today?
Well, starting with Reguilon, I think he's got a free hit fast. That's why he's playing so well. He's playing with freedom. He's not a Manchester United player officially. He's a loanee from Tottenham Hotspur, so he can just do what he wants. He can go out there with no pressure on his shoulders and play football. That's something that every single United player hasn't had the opportunity to do for a very, very long time. Wearing that red shirt, being contracted to Manchester United is a different ballgame than coming in on loan and just know you just got to do a job for a certain amount of time. I think you should just go out and just embrace the night tonight. Embrace it, take your opportunity. That's what you've got to do. This is another day in the office for Onana. This is how I think he's going to approach this game. He's used to this. He played the best of the best last season. And I think, you know what? When we need characters in big games like this, hopefully Onana's one of them tonight. And he can shut a few people up as well in the process by having a performance, which we, and I think everyone else around the Manchester United fan base, know he's going to need to have tonight.
Yeah, we want to make sure he doesn't at least concede more than 3. That's for sure, because that would not look good at all. But anything else?
Score prediction, Adam. Give us a score prediction just before you go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'd have been tracked all over the place from my original score prediction, which was 4-1 to Bayern. But, I mean, honestly, I'm hoping to be shocked by Manchester United tonight. I'm hoping to be taken over by that fan inside me tonight and blown away. I still don't think it's going to happen. I think Bayern are going to spank us because they're just a really good team. Looking at them at training, they're just like they ooze quality. But you know what? Someone said to me outside Bayern Munich Centre today, a United fan, he went, remember when we went into that PSG game with Ole, with all them injuries, all them players out, and no one expected us to win the game? You just never know. That's what it is. I'll stick with that. You just never know. Ricky will know the guy, actually.
I hope.
It might be one of them nights, guys.
I hope you're right. Ricky, is there anything you want to ask Adam before he gets off?
How's the beer over there, mate?
He said, how's the beer over there?
Ricky, Oktoberfest, Ricky. I don't know how you didn't make it over here, mate, with your chums, mate, honestly.
He said Oktoberfest. He doesn't know how you didn't make it over.
No, good.
But Adam, we'll leave you to it. Enjoy the press box. Hopefully we get to see a player interview on the United stand after the game. We'll be looking for your reaction, and let's hope it's a positive one. Good luck.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, United. Come on.
Cheers, Adam. Cheers. We've got a couple of super chats.
How good is that, by the way?
Yeah, that was good. That was really, really good.
Faz.
But I tell you what, Adam is there, but he still thinks we're gonna get beat. I thought, when you're in a stadium and that little football child of yours come out, and
I'm starting to get a feeling of it.
I
I couldn't hear him. Did he give a prediction?
Yeah, he thinks we're going to get beat. He
Yeah.
said 4-1.
4-1.
yeah.
But he said he's happy with the team, so I don't.
It just makes
Couple
sense,
of
doesn't
super
it?
chats. Let's just quickly get through them. MB says, not the game for Palestri against Davis. Mike says, loving the fuzzy Motson look today. Thank you very much. Spot on says, Palestri deserves a shot. Great engine, tracks back, goes at his man and puts a cross in. This side is dying for his profile. Zayn Miasi is in the chat as well. Zayn Miasi says, Nabri and Jesus hat-trick tonight.
Dino Delavel says, let's not sleep on Copenhagen. 2-0 up away at Galatasaray.
Wow.
Wow, that is, Galatasaray at home, you think that's going to be a really, well, Galatasaray away, you think that's going to be a really tough game. Copenhagen going to go in there and they're winning 2-0. So that puts the cat amongst the pigeons in our group. Moses Egby says Ricky McTominay is not a better player defensively in the midfield just because they're a better offensively.
I've read that one.
He never picks up his runners. Have you read that one?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with all these. But thank you everyone for bringing your
can I
super
come
chats
in on
in.
that?
Likes in the chat. We're going to move on to players to watch. But quickly, Ricky, what did you want to say?
Just that we need more players in there. A lot of people coming back saying he's not good at this, he's not good at that. We need more players in there. Casemiro will be better if Scott McTominay is 6 or 7 yards or 8 yards to his right, rather than a massive big space for the Germans to run through. Simple as that. We need more players in there.
Okie dokes. Right, we're going to... Ricky, We'll see if you prove right. You usually are, so let's wait and see. But we know the way you want to go.
Yeah,
into
but the
this,
probability is the probability is very high that we're going to lose.
With or without McTominay in there, we're going to probably lose anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to our plays to watch for Man United. God, time's ticking away, getting closer to build up. But plays to watch for Man United, we called these quite a while ago, but I'll go with them. My plays to watch, my first one was Marcus Rashford. I think again, it's huge tonight because he's had a lot of criticism coming at him after the Brighton game, decision making, and he needs to be on the ball tonight. He usually shows up on big Champions League nights. We've all remember the PSG one. He can show up in these types of games. I think as a senior forward player with Højlund and Pellistri, he needs to show up in that front three. He needs to be unselfish, make the correct decisions, and he needs to track back and put in 100% effort. So he's definitely one to watch for me. And I also went with Højlund as well, which again, you know, starting for Man United in the Champions League, away at Bayern Munich, new 20-year-old striker. It's a huge game, and I'm super excited to see what he can bring to the team. Faz, your first one was Casemiro.
Yes.
Explain.
The reason why is holding, you know, being able to protect that defensive backline against the crazy midfield of Bayern Munich. You've got Kimmich, you've got Muller, you've got Musiala, who can obviously start in now. You've got Gnabry, you've got Sane. He's going to be the pivotal player to be able to break up the play and give us that option. One of the things that I spotted against Brighton is that absolutely sexy pass that he made to Rashford from deep without looking on a half volley. Those are the type of passes that I kind of want to see him play. It's not really his forte, it's not his game, but seeing him be able to do that, it's really nice to see. And for us to have any chance that Ricky was mentioning earlier on is let Bayern come on to us, let's win the ball back. Like, let Casemiro and the defensive players win the ball back and spray the ball for counter-attacking opportunities. So that's why Casemiro was my first one. What was my second one?
Second one was Bruno Fernandes.
Well, it's big game. There's a big stigma about Bruno Fernandes going missing in big games, and it's about time that he sets the score right by having a big performance. And what a way it would be than to maybe get a goal or an assist against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. He's not had a proper out-and-out number 9 sink in the team. Now he's got Højlund, now he's got Rashford, now he's got Pellistri. He has to be able to get those chance conversions through to the players to be able to score. He's the number 1 player who creates chances. Everybody knows this, and everybody holds this up for him, saying, he's done such great things in his first season, but in big games, there is a pattern of him not being there. So I'm expecting him to make lots of chances, and I definitely am expecting for him to get a goal or an assist. And he's the captain. What's the most important thing is make sure that the players don't drop their heads. Whether it's an early goal, whether we get 2-0 down, just keep fighting. And he will keep fighting, but he needs to channel that energy over to everyone else.
Do you know what I can't believe as well? This is completely not United related, so I'll literally bring it up for 2 seconds. Arteta's stuck with David Raya. Champions League, poor Ramsdale, but he's good. It's the right decision. I think David Raya's a better keeper, but... Yeah. I think he's gutted. Anyway, I like that. Well. I like that. We'll come to Ricky after the super chats.
Yeah, Robert says, Ricky knows Bayern will love our lineup. Bradley says, for this game, I would have played a back 5. Evans, Martinez, Victor as centre-back, Dalot and Reguilon as wing-back, Bruno, Casemiro, Eriksen, Martial and Højlund. I think, That's the lineup. Daniel says Højlund versus Kim Min-jae and Upamecano be a hell of a battle. And Højlund is very physical as well. He likes to get stuck in, doesn't he? And Spot On says Top Man Fast. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Upamecano has a mistake in him.
Rory says 3-1. The season gets going tonight. We said that against Brighton.
It's got to get going at some point.
To the people as well, by the way, I have actually jinxed us because I played Bayern Munich in FIFA last night. And I lost 6-0. And then I played again. And I lost 7-1. So if there's any jinx, there you go. I hope Manchester United can score more than 1 goal, at least. Because that would be respectable. That would be very much respectable.
Well, it's a good job.
I'd take 0 if they only get 0. That's the way United needs to look at it. And they're not looking at it in the right manner.
It's a good job Faz isn't at the wheel. Richard Carlson says, is it that cold in the studio? Faz just likes wearing his fancy coat. But everyone, get in your plays to watch as well. Who you're excited to see and you know, who you're looking at to come up trumps with a really big performance for Manchester United tonight. But Ricky, we'll come to you. Anyone particular in that starting 11 where you're expecting a big performance from them?
Expecting a big performance. I wasn't expecting that question, Beth, so I've not got an answer in my mind. I thought you was going to ask me which 2 players to watch, like you two have both done.
Okay, well,
so
you can do that as well if you want.
Palestri is, you know, obviously a big game to throw him into. You know, everybody's been banging on about giving him a game. I wish he would have given him a game against Wolves at home or Notts Forest at home. Surely that would give the kid a better chance. But, you know, fingers crossed it goes well for him. But same thing I'd like to just mention on that, by the way. There's 1 or 2 said it, and Faz said it to me before the show. Wouldn't mind seeing Højlund and Martial together, and I think someone said that in the chat.
Yeah, they did.
I wouldn't mind seeing that, but not tonight. We should have 5 across the middle tonight. Martial should be on the left. 1 up front tonight, it should be, like Newcastle did last night. But certainly, maybe Burnley away. We've got Crystal Palace at home twice next week. Maybe in that game, play the 2 of them together.
Yeah, I think Højlund and Martial would be a good partnership, to be honest with you. We do just have a little bit of breaking news coming to me through my ear. Apparently, Ten Hag has just come out and said that Alphonso Davies isn't a good defender.
Isn't a good defender.
Isn't a good defender. So that is
maybe that's his reasoning for playing Palestri.
That's a strong comment to come out with before the game starts, and that's probably why he has played Palestri there, hoping he can get
I can just feel
something
my
off him.
heartbeat.
Oh, just don't say
rising.
that before the game, because...
Can I ask you this? I've just thought of something. If he's saying Alphonso Davies isn't a good defender, I'm going to assume that he thinks he's really good going forward.
He is, yeah.
So if he thinks he's really good going forward, is it sensible to put Palestri against him? Do you know what I mean?
Ricky, I know you always do this with your hand up. We shouldn't be... Right, OK, fair enough, Bayern Munich away, but we shouldn't always be looking at opposition's team and being like, oh, let's make sure we get defensive against Alphonso Davies. No, let's pin Alphonso Davies back, because defending is his weakness. I actually think he's a decent defender, but he's better going forward. But how do you pin him back? You have someone coming at him like Palestri. If you put like a Bruno there, you're just inviting Alphonso Davies to come at you all game, because he knows there's not much threat going backwards.
Beth, it's not so easy to get... Look, again, I hope I'm proved wrong tonight, but it's not so easy to get the ball to Palestri. They're going to have a lot more of the ball than us, I would imagine.
He knows he's a threat with pace. Bruno's no threat with pace if he's playing on the right, so he has the licence to go forward all day. Hopefully that will pin him back a little bit. I hope anyway. Joel Tomlinson says tonight is a worry. Wow. And who was your other player to watch, Ricky? So you said
I'm looking forward to the wrong phrase. I'm going to have a real beady eye on Lisandro Martinez. I've not been impressed with him this season at all, and he missed quite a lot at the end of last season. And I thought Lindelof in his place looked a better, more steady player. And now this season, obviously, Varane's missing, so Lindelof's now playing on the right, and Martinez is playing on the left, but I've not been very impressed with him at all, I've got to say.
With Lisandro Martinez?
Yeah.
So he's a player to watch for you?
I'm going to keep my eye on him, and let's see how he does.
I have to admit, Ricky, I'm a huge fan of Lisandro, but he's not started the season very well. I've not been impressed either, and maybe it's coming back from injury, maybe it's not having Varane there next to him. I think Varane has been a big miss, but I know you're not a huge fan of Varane either, are you?
No,
so
Lindelof played all right next to Varane while Martinez was out, and Lindelof also played all right with Martinez while Varane was missing. I think Lindelof's the pick of the bunch. I really
What did you think of Lindelof's performance against Brighton?
Looked okay. I didn't see anything disastrous with it.
I told you. I told you about Victor Lindelof. And look,
I didn't think he wasn't very good against Brighton.
I mean,
neither was anyone. But
look, everyone's been getting, this player getting slaughtered, that player getting slaughtered. Loads of them did loads of bad things. Casemiro's passing was absolutely horrendous.
It was bad, yeah.
Horrendous. You know what I mean? And now at the back, look at the player who was it Gross who scored the second goal? He just let the ball roll across his body and sent. I don't know, he sent Martinez for a bag of fish and chips or something, didn't he, and slotted it in the corner.
I personally think Varane's our best defender. I think Lindelof is a good player. I think Martinez is a top player when he's playing on form, but we need that form back ASAP.
Lindelof is a very good player when he turns up, and especially if he's got a good partner around him as well. I think it's just for the manager, and don't forget Erik ten Hag vetoed his move as well. He wanted, he could have possibly left, and he's still here. Availability is your best ability, and that's what Lindelof gives you. And I'm glad that Lindelof and Dalot are getting their chances now and proving that they can. But you can't prove until we actually win the game, because it gets overshadowed. So hopefully we can put a good performance in and they don't make any mistakes. But Erik ten Hag saying that Alphonso Davies isn't a good defender could only mean what Ricky says is he might be actually better going forward, which means Dalot would have a tougher time today. But we will see, won't we, what happens.
I honestly can't believe Ten Hag said that. The actual quote is...
It's very Mourinho-esque.
The actual quote is, Alphonso Davies isn't a good defender. Pellistri can match Davies with his dribbling.
With his dribbling?
He's going for it.
A schoolboy.
He also said...
For it.
He said Pellistri is doing very well over a long period. He was coming from South America, so to start against Brighton was a tough journey. So he probably wanted him to start against Brighton, maybe. And fair play. Pellistri, please. Please, 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 please. Give me something tonight. I've been wanting him to start for so long. I really like the guy. I've met him. I've had a picture with him, showing off. But I want to be posting that everywhere tonight once he gets once he has a good game. Well, I'm hoping he has a good game because it's a huge opportunity.
I like that Ten Hag is being ballsy and saying things that he feels. I don't mind it.
And he cut off his loan move as well. He was going to go on loan.
I don't mind it actually. I've been asking for this because Ten Hag deceives us in press conference by saying rubbish about Harry Maguire. So I'm glad that he's coming out and saying some things that we can believe and is actually right. So yeah.
He's put a lot of pressure on Pellistri, hasn't he, going into the game?
But the pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds, and after pressure comes heat. So that's what Pellistri has to perform. That's playing for Manchester United, and let alone Manchester United playing in the Champions League. You have to be able to sustain all sorts of pressure. So. Yeah, if he can outrun, turn, make a pass, go past Alphonso Davies even a couple of times, that should tell you enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean...
And don't forget, Alphonso Davies and Pellistri are the same age.
Are they?
Yes.
Really? Wow. I mean, it just shows how long Alphonso Davies has been around. I'm checking that.
People would think Alphonso Davies is some 26, 27-year-old absolute veteran of the game, but...
no, he's a year older than him.
21, 22.
Deal, is it?
I mean, I want to ask about Ricky. I want to ask you about Reguilon. He got quite a lot of praise in that Brighton game. Obviously, his first start for Man United at Old Trafford. I do always think, first start at Old Trafford, usually you do have a good performance. It's make or break really for a player. Are you excited to see how he develops? I know you're a big fan of Luke Shaw, but did Sergio Reguilon, did he look good to you?
Yeah, he played well the other night, but I've been a bit of a fan, been a closet fan of Reguilon since ever I saw him play for Villarreal against us. He's a good player.
It was Sevilla, wasn't it?
I think he played for...
No,
I think he played for Villarreal when they beat us in the final, or certainly when they beat us in a different game, in a semi-final or something that we played them in. But I've certainly seen him play for Villarreal against us, I'm sure of it, as a left-back, and he was pretty good going forward. And just check that out. I'm pretty sure it was Villarreal.
It was Sevilla.
Right, was it
I
Sevilla?
Was right for once over Ricky.
So it must have been when Sevilla beat us. What game is it at? Does it give you the game?
I've just the chat that's telling me.
Right.
Probably semi-final of the Champions of the
Anyway,
Europa League.
I've definitely seen him play. He's definitely impressed me in the past, playing against us. And I'm not surprised that he's played well. I am a bit surprised that Spurs, look, let's be honest, they must rank him third or fourth choice. You don't loan out your second choice left back, do you, surely?
No.
So that so obviously the new Spurs manager, who's doing a great job, he doesn't seem to fancy him too much. So I hope he does well. And I've seen him before, but he ain't any Luke Shaw. There's no two ways about that.
But let's be honest as well. He's a player who's coming to revive his career. He's
Yeah.
at the prime age of his life. His agents probably told him, this is, how can you tell a player that Manchester United are calling for you after not being in Spurs' squad and then having a terrible loan spell when you went on loan as well? It's actually miraculous for him. And Manchester United, he's going to be the number one left back because there's no left back right now. So you couldn't have asked for a better opportunity, and he's playing like that as well. He's got to revive his career, he's got to rejuvenate his career, and he's got that extra bit of motivation. If that was a player that we're bringing on loan who's got competition, I don't think and who's been performing for the other club, I don't think he performs like that. So that extra bit of hunger can do a lot for a player. Definitely.
Ten Hag has also come out and said, the Champions League, this is where we belong. I'm liking, obviously he's going to say that, but I'm liking the confidence from Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Pre-game, he's up for it. I mean, do you want to go through some super chats?
Yeah, a couple of super chats here. Joel Tomlinson says this club will ruin Ten Hag. Joke. Another super chat here as well. Juan David says, hi, I believe our struggles up front is because of Rashi, selfish way of playing. There can be no passing game and Bruno just needs to simplify his game. That's why I said I would like to see Martial and Højlund as much as I wanted Martial out the club. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for your super chats. Ricky, obviously Rashford was getting a lot of stick against Brighton. You've been a critic of his for a while. What does Rashford need to do tonight?
Well, you asked me that question a few weeks ago before the game. I said we needed to get him to the dead ball line and get the ball across, and he did it in that game. And I think Eriksen scored. He did. Was it against Forest?
Hopefully he's got his AirPods in the dressing room now listening to you.
No, but I said that in that game, and it'd be great if that could happen in this game. But the most important thing, without any doubt, tonight is his defensive duties. Without any doubt, he's got to defend properly. And I don't know what we've already spoke about the pressing game and me saying that too many players get forward and it leaves too big a gap between the forwards and the defenders, or the forwards and the midfield players. If they've been told to do that by the manager, so be it. You know, you can't expect them to do something different. But in my book, I would want all of the forward players, especially the wingers, maybe the actual striker can put a bit of pressure on the defenders, but the wingers need to drop in and be sat waiting for them to come forward rather than going hunting for the ball and leaving big gaps behind themselves. So I'd like to see him defend better, basically.
Rashford isn't going to do anything other than what we've already seen.
Do you not think?
I don't want to be.
I think he'll be on it tonight.
Looking at all his comments that came out, and I had a meltdown in the morning. I think Rashford is probably one of the egos that Ole refers to. The way he carries himself on the pitch, especially, makes me feel like that. Anyways, because
Ole loved him.
Yeah, but he could have loved him, but doesn't mean he doesn't have an ego.
True.
Doesn't mean that. Apparently, Ole also said that Manchester United never signed players that the managers don't want, but he ended up signing Donny van de Beek and didn't end up using him. So, could mean a lot of things. But Rashford, we know the type of player he is, and he's just got to concentrate on doing what he does best, which is try and hit the target from anywhere that he can, and not you know.
No, he's got to pass the ball more.
I mean, he's got to pass the ball, but the thing is, I don't expect him to, with the snap of a finger, try and pass it. I hope I'm proven wrong, though. I would love that he proves me wrong and starts making brilliant passes from deep, tries swinging the ball to Højlund, beating a man and going down the byline. I'd love stuff like that, and I hope he does that. He does seem to be going down the byline a little bit more, but again, there's a bit of hesitation for him to use that left foot, and people absolutely go in on Anthony for his right foot, but never do I see people talk about Rashford's left foot.
Rashford uses his left foot way more than Anthony uses his right.
Sure, but it's not effective enough.
It's only happened recently, though.
Yeah, but he has been doing it.
He has improved on it.
He has improved on it. The thing is with Rashford, what I want to see from him is, of course, I want to see him getting to the dead ball line and crossing it with his left more. He has been doing it more, but he needs to do it at the right moments. He needs to make the correct decisions. But the main thing for me is I need to see someone working ridiculously hard. Because I've not seen it from Rashford. I was so annoyed in the Brighton game. He was half walking around the pitch with like half an hour to go, and it's just not acceptable.
Did I hear you say on a show that he had 12 shots at goal on Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was around that figure as well. He had a lot of shots. Yeah.
If it's true that he had 12 shots at goal, that's a disgrace. Should be passing it more.
Well, we've got Plestrian to hopefully pass it more, but like you said, how often are we going to have the ball in their third? We might be surprised. We might be surprised.
Let's see.
We are away from home, though. We are away from home. Wow, there's 2 minutes left. If anyone has any chats they want to get in quickly, make sure you get them in, and we'll try and answer a couple of questions before we go. I mean, there's 15,500 in there.
Yeah, let me just ask you quickly, Ricky and yourself. I'll start with you. You're in the changing room. Beth Hag.
Okay.
Stage is yours.
Oh, do I have to?
Yeah, stage is yours.
Well, I'm not going to swear, but I would be swearing if I was Ten Hag at this moment in time. I'd be saying, look, everyone. The media don't believe in you. They don't believe in us. You have let these fans down time and time again this season. You have been nowhere at your best. We are playing at the Allianz against Bayern Munich. If you can't turn up tonight, then walk out that door and don't bother coming back. I want to see you leave everything on the pitch for these fans. I want you to see you leave everything on the pitch for yourself, because it's professional pride at the end of the day. And they are going to rinse you if you don't at least put in a performance today. And that's what I expect. I expect you to be tracking back. I expect you to be working for your teammates. I expect you to take risks. I expect you to be confident. And I expect us to go and win this game of football. So let's go. That's what I'd be saying. Let's go. And I'd be saying, let's go and play effing football like Ten Hag said against Liverpool.
Ricky, do you want to give a little bit as well? What would you say if you were in the changing room?
It would take too long for me to speak my mind.
Ricky would be like, make sure you sit back behind the ball.
Right, I'll be saying this. Sit back behind the ball. We want a line of 4. We want a line of 5. Facundo, Marcus, do not go pressing the full-back in their half. Bruno, don't go pressing the centre-backs. Get next to Casemiro. I don't want to see 10 yards of space to one side of Casemiro and 10 yards to the other side. Eriksen, close to him on his left. Bruno, close to him on his right. Diogo, speak to Facundo. Do not let him leave you and let 10 yards of space in front of you. Let him sit back in their half. If they've got the ball 10 yards inside their half, let them have it. They can't score from there. Regulion, whatever his first name is. Same thing. Speak to Marcus. Get him in front of you. Don't let him leave a big gap between you and him.
Ricky,
even though you're a new player in
Ricky,
the team, tell him.
I tell you what, we're going into management together, me and you. I mean, let's sign us up. Faz, I'm sorry, you usually do a speech, but we've got to go.
No, it's fine.
Quickly, score prediction, I'm going 1-1.
2-1 Manchester United.
I hate it, but I'll go 3-1 Bayern.
Oh, Ricky, what are you doing to us? But guys, look, Mark is live now with the watch along. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's hope that the team talks get into the players' heads. Thank you everyone for your chats, the super chats, the likes. Make sure you like this video and come on United. Thank you everyone. Go over to Mark's watch along now and we'll see you on the fan forum.